Hi, this is Dr. Wysong. This series of videos on the big questions of life will show where each one of us is led if we dare to leave behind preconceived ideas and see where reason and evidence lead. Weird things disprove materialism. The most compelling evidence any of us will ever be faced with is personal observation and experience. No argument, no matter how erudite or authoritative, ever defeats direct experience. So hoping you won't take the position of the anonymous person who said to Margaret Mead, "This is the kind of phenomena I wouldn't believe even if it were true," let's begin this interesting and exciting exploration with something you can experience right now. While writing this book, I just happened to be faced with the problem of locating a drain line under a cement floor in the warehouse at my office. The original construction drawings were lost and we needed to plumb into a drain for an expansion. After calling everyone we could think of to see if there was some instrument that could detect pipes under cement, nobody had any better idea than to start randomly breaking out the concrete floor. That was a daunting and depressing prospect, to say the least. Well, one of our fellow workers asked if he could try to witch the drain line. I surprised him and said fine. So he bent some coat hangers, and then he walked around the warehouse until he had mapped out what he claimed was the entire drainage system hidden under 6 inches of solid concrete. I watched him walk about as the wires mysteriously crossed as he passed over certain spots. He then chalked an X on the floor everywhere that they did. Intrigued, I asked if I could try. To my amazement, the wires crossed in every spot with an X. No visuals were at play since I even repeated it, closing my eyes. On another occasion, after digging for an hour in my yard to find plugged drain pipes leading from my eaves troughs, I remembered dowsing. I bent some coat hangers and walked around the yard. In about 2 minutes, I found the pipes. You don't have to use the wires as described in the paper. Some dowsers, as you've probably seen in pictures, use Y-shaped sticks. I had the same experience after finding the eaves troughs of trying to find a buried electrical line going to an outside light that had become dead. I found some scrap electrical cord and stripped out a small piece of the copper wire in it. Holding this in my hand while I held the dowsing wires, I again amazed myself as I was able to track the line 2 feet underground all over the yard. For centuries, dowsing has been used to find underground water, and for centuries it's of course been poo-pooed by the scientific community. What happens between the wire or the sticks and the water or other objects, and why the wires turn toward one another, is totally mysterious. There's some form of communication going on, but it hasn't been measured, harnessed, defined, or explained. Here's how you can experience this for yourself to help open your mind to the mysterious and unseen world. Just lay a hose on the ground and let water trickle through it. Slowly walk across it perpendicularly, very lightly holding your dowsing wires so they can easily swivel right to left. Hold them body width apart, parallel to the ground and pointing forward. Hold your elbows tight to your sides to help keep your hands steady. Feel for the wires' desire to turn toward one another and let them do it. They'll do this as you pass over the hose. When you feel them start to turn, slow way down or stop to let them finish their movement. You can also experience coins communicating with one another by putting 1 penny on the ground and another in your hand as you hold the wires. Then walk over the coin and the wires will cross. Now then, if it doesn't work for you, retry by moving very slowly and steady, making sure the wires are held very loosely so they can do their own thing. Have friends or family give it a try if you can't make it work. On the other hand, if you prefer not to try this for yourself and just doubt, you can do that too and have plenty of support. For example, in a debunking book entitled Why People Believe Weird Things, the author, the founder of Skeptic magazine, states, and I quote, "Some things such as water dowsing, have been tested and have failed the tests often enough that we can provisionally conclude that they are false. Thanks for provisionally there. Another author in the book Quantum Leaps in the Wrong Direction, Where Real Science Ends and Pseudoscience Begins, remarks, alleged psychic ability of dowsing. Do these events support the hypothesis that dowsers can detect hidden substances better than with chance guessing and without the use of clues in the environment? No. Controlled experiments set up to test the abilities of dowsers have shown that dowsers are no better at finding hidden substances than chance would predict. What does cause the muscle contractions that move the dowser's rod? The movement is caused by suggestion and unconscious muscular activity in the dowser. It has been demonstrated that just thinking about a certain physical action, like a dowsing rod tilting, causes minute reactions in the muscles that would be used for such actions. And the slightest movement in the wrists or hands will be magnified in the movements of the rod. While reading that, after experiencing what I did in the warehouse and in my yard, gave me the same feeling you would have if you walked into a building after being drenched in rain, shoes sloshing as you walked, and were met by people who insisted that it couldn't be raining because the meteorologists on the weather station said it wasn't forecast for the day. To believe the Quantum Leaps author, I would have to believe that the results I and everyone at the office had, even blindfolded, were just imagined, or we were all delusional that particular day. His take on dowsing and the results of so-called controlled experiments would mean everyone at the office happened to agree by just guessing where pipelines were buried 3.5 feet under 10,000 square feet of 6-inch thick concrete. Decide for yourself. When you do it, you will actually feel the wires moving on their own. They are loose in the hands and cannot therefore be moved by what he calls muscles. In fact, it's only if they are totally loose and free to swing on their own that will work for you. Notice in the above skeptic's quote the allusion to thinking about a particular result making it happen. Well, he may be onto something there, but not for the muscle reactions he speculates. As we've learned, mind underlies reality. It may be that our mind's desire to find water pipes or copper wire is the force that makes the wires move. But it's not your muscles, it's the wires themselves that move, as you will experience. Please, go bend the wires, the hangers, and create the ultimate proof personal experience. Do it right now before you venture on through these next chapters. It will help make them seem not quite so unbelievable.
Thank you for listening. Keep in mind that solving the big questions requires foundations upon which truthful answers can be built. So please work through the series sequentially. This information has taken decades of research, thought, and writing. Aside from the peace of mind the solutions have brought me, the only reward I seek is hearing that it's helped you. Feel free to contact me with any comments or questions at asifThinkingMatters.com.